Most parents spend the first 5 years of their child's life guessing. Guessing why the crying won't stop. Guessing why bedtime feels like a battle. Guessing whether they're doing any of this right. But here's something most parents don't realize. A lot of the hardest moments in early childhood have a simple, research-backed explanation. And once you know it, the fix is almost embarrassingly easy. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 10 of these moments. Some are about your baby's brain. Some are about their body. All of them are things pediatrician researchers have studied for years, but somehow never made it into the parenting books everyone actually reads. Stick around because tip 7 is the one that changes bedtime completely. If you're raising a baby or toddler somewhere between newborn and 5 years old, this video is for you. By the end, you'll understand why your child does some of the things that confuse or exhaust you, the meltdowns, the clinginess, the refusal to nap, and you'll walk away with 10 simple, practical tools you can use starting today. No special equipment, no expensive programs, just small shifts backed by real developmental research that make daily life calmer for both of you. And if even one of these feels like it was written just for you, that's exactly the point. So let's get into it. Here's something that surprises a lot of new parents. Talking to a baby who can't yet respond isn't just comforting, it's building the architecture of their brain. Researchers at Harvard Center on the Developing Child have found that the sheer quantity and quality of words a child hears in the first 3 years directly shapes how strong their language networks become later on. But here's the part most people miss. It's not about flashcards or teaching, it's about narrating your ordinary day. I'm putting your sock on now. This banana is yellow. That's it. Did you know babies' brains process the rhythm of your voice, the rise and fall of speech, long before they understand any actual words? So even narrating while you fold laundry is doing real work. If you've ever felt silly talking to a baby who just stares back at you blankly, you're not alone, and you're not wasting your breath. If your toddler seems to fall apart every day right around dinner time, you are not imagining it, and you are not doing anything wrong. Pediatric sleep researchers call this witching hour behavior, and it's tied to a natural dip in blood sugar, combined with the accumulated mental fatigue of a full day of learning. Your toddler's brain has been working incredibly hard since morning. Every new word, every new rule, every new sensation is effortful for them. The fix isn't more discipline. It's a small, protein-rich snack about an hour before the usual meltdown window, plus 10 minutes of quiet, low-stimulation time. Dim lights, soft voice, no screens. It won't eliminate meltdowns completely, but it takes the edge off the worst of them. You're not failing at 5 p.m. Your child's brain is simply tired, just like yours. Somewhere around 18 months, toddlers develop a fierce, biologically driven need for autonomy. It's not defiance for defiance's sake. It's a critical developmental stage where your child is learning that they exist separately from you. Child development specialists at 0 to 3 recommend offering small, contained choices instead of direct commands wherever possible. Instead of put your shoes on, try do you want the red shoes or the blue shoes? The task still happens, but your toddler gets to feel like the decision was theirs. Did you know this one shift can reduce daily power struggles significantly because you're working with your toddler's need for control instead of against it? If your once social baby suddenly starts crying around grandparents or unfamiliar faces around 8 to 9 months old, it can feel alarming. But pediatricians see this as a genuinely reassuring milestone. It means your baby has formed a clear, secure attachment to you specifically, and their brain is now sophisticated enough to notice the difference between known safe person and unknown person. This phase usually eases by around 18 months. The most helpful thing you can do isn't forcing interaction. It's simply holding your baby and letting them warm up at their own pace. You're not raising a shy child. You're raising a securely attached one. Okay, before we go further, I want to flag something. The next tip is one that pediatric physical therapists specifically ask parents to know because it prevents a really common injury that most parents have never even heard of. If you have a toddler who loves being swung by the arms, you're gonna want to hear this one. This one feels harmless. Swinging a giggling toddler by the arms or yanking them up quickly by one hand to avoid a fall. But pediatric orthopedic specialists warn this is actually the leading cause of a common injury called nursemaid's elbow, where a small bone in the elbow partially slips out of place. Instead, lift toddlers from under the arms or by scooping under their bottom and back. If you want that fun swinging motion, hold securely under both arms rather than by the hands or wrists. It sounds like such a small detail, but it's one of those things that no one tells you until after it's already happened. So now you know before it does. Many parents try to fix bedtime battles by simply moving bedtime earlier, but sleep researchers point to something more effective: consistency of sequence, not just timing. Your child's brain releases melatonin, the hormone that makes them sleepy, in response to predictable cues: bath, then pajamas, then a book, then lights out, in the exact same order every night. The repetition itself signals sleep is coming more powerfully than the clock does. Did you know? Studies on toddler sleep routines have found that children with a consistent wind-down sequence fall asleep faster and wake less overnight, even when total bedtime varies by 20 to 30 minutes night to night. If bedtime already feels like a nightly negotiation, you're not alone. And the fix might be less about the hour on the clock and more about the steps that lead up to it. This one surprises a lot of parents. We tend to hide our own frustration or effort to protect our kids. But developmental psychologists suggest that letting children witness you calmly work through a small frustration, a jar that won't open, a mistake while cooking, actually teaches emotional regulation far better than any lecture could. When you say out loud, "This is frustrating, but I'm gonna take a breath and try again," your toddler is absorbing a template for how to handle their own big feelings later. You don't have to perform perfect patience all day. Showing your child how you recover from frustration is itself the lesson. Mealtime battles are one of the most common stress points for parents of toddlers. But pediatric nutrition guidelines, including those referenced by the American Academy of Pediatrics, generally support what's called the division of responsibility in feeding. The parent decides what and when food is offered, and the child decides how much and whether to eat it. This means it's genuinely okay if your toddler eats 3 bites one day and a full plate the next. Toddlers are remarkably good at regulating their own hunger and fullness cues. Pressuring them to finish often backfires, creating more resistance to food over time, not less. If mealtime feels like a daily negotiation, know this: your toddler eating enough over a full week matters far more than any single meal. If even one of these 10 tips gave you that "wait, that explains so much" feeling, you're exactly who this channel is made for. We post new research-backed parenting tips like this every week, so if you don't want to miss the next one, hit subscribe now. It genuinely helps this channel keep making free content for parents like you. And I'd love to know, which tip surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and it helps other tired parents find this video too. If you know a parent who needs to hear even one of these tips today, send this their way. Sometimes the most helpful thing you can do for another parent is remind them they're not the only one figuring this out. Raising a baby or toddler was never supposed to be instinct alone. It takes real information, delivered without judgment, and a reminder every now and then that you're doing better than you think. You don't need to get every moment right. You just need a few good tools and the willingness to try again tomorrow. Thanks for spending this time with us. We'll see you in the next video. And until then, be gentle with yourself. You're doing a great job.